who have snapped on a bully at school. What's your story? I was being bullied for like a month when I was 13 or 14. Some guy from my class started messing with me, pushing, hair grabbing, neck slapping, stuff like that, and I didn't know how to handle it. One of his friends from another class, a guy I had never spoken to before, tried it once and I instinctively punched him in the face. Bullying stopped. If that random guy didn't do what he did, I don't know how I would have put an end to it, to be honest. I smashed a kid across the face with a stapler because he hit me all the time and I got tired of it. I was in 7th grade, didn't get caught. 5th grade, this dude who always picked on me was kicking my seat in assembly, and I was having a terrible week and this was my last straw. I punched him in the face, but I wasn't satisfied with the first punch because it felt weak, so I figured I'm already going to be in trouble, so I went back for a second better punch that felt worth getting in trouble over. Also, this was a DARE assembly, which was about saying no to drugs and violence, so I basically learned nothing. I was 11, he was 9, but he picked up my 6-year-old sister on the bus home one day and none of the adults would do anything about it. So after we got off the bus, I kicked his eggs. He never bothered my sister or any other kid ever again. High school. One girl made my life hell. I didn't even know her or fully understand why she targeted me. She tried to run me over and told cops I walked in front of her car. One day walking up the stairs, she proceeded to taunt me, hitting me in the back with objects and calling me names. I stopped, turned around and punched her in the nose. She landed on her back on the landing. I just stood over her and said, "What now, bitch?" She never said one word to me after that. This happened in 8th grade. I was bullied from the beginning of 7th grade, and one day I decided to report him. I got bullied for reporting the bully. I got so mad that one day after church I beat him up in the parking lot. I made sure I didn't beat him up enough to have to call an ambulance, but enough to hurt. He didn't mess with me from then onwards. Do you know that I give you money for uploading my videos to TikTok, and the one who gains the most views in a month gets an extra $1,000? More details on my Discord server, link in the comments. Year 7, so I was 12. Part of the bullying included this other girl being a dick about getting into our lockers. She had the one next to me, and they were both on the ground, so we have to put our bags on the floor when we wanted to get into them. If she got there first, then I had to wait for her to finish before I could get to mine. But if I was there first, then she'd shove my bag out of the way and wouldn't be patient at all. It sounds unimportant now, but this wasn't the only thing that was going on. One day, she grabbed my bag and shoved it out of the way like normal, and I snapped. I yelled at her, explaining exactly how she had been being unfair and that she needed to make a f***ing decision on which way it was gonna work, and then stick to it. She and her friend literally had their mouths hanging open in shock, which is a sight I'll never forget, and the locker stopped being an issue after that. She decided on patience rather than shoving bags out of the way. I just wish I'd lost my bullies more often, maybe the rest of it would have stopped sooner. So I grew up moving around a lot with mom and dad. Unfortunately, that meant being the new kid quite a bit. I was a pretty awkward kid, but I generally managed to make friends. Except one particular school, I was there for 3 years, which is the longest run at one elementary school I ever had. Anyways, the popular girls would bully me constantly. I was about 50 pounds soaking wet when I was younger and was on average skinnier than most. They would call me anorexic and ask why my parents starved me, etc. They didn't. My parents were and still are amazing. But one day the popular girl asked me to give her a push on the gliders. You'd hang onto a T-bar and push off from one platform to the next. Well, I pushed her really hard, and she fell off and broke her arm. I transferred schools the next week. Ah yes, there was this one girl at our school who wasn't a bully. She was just mean as shit to me, and the mean girl were on and off friends until 7th grade. Then she just started hating me for God knows what. On Kick, she would tell me to kill myself and keep harassing me. Nobody out of the 3 other people in the group chat did anything about it. I finally had enough, and with permission from my parents, I went to school, waited for her until she got comfortable at her table, and then I went up and punched her in the face. She said later on it didn't even hurt, but she was crying when it happened. I hid in the bathrooms for the rest of morning period, then was suspended for 3 days. The girl who was harassing me wasn't in trouble because I couldn't provide screenshots of her saying it in the group chat. When I came back to school, I got so many high fives from other people that think she's mean, and they were cool with what I did. I was about 8 and punched one of my bullies in the throat. Nearly f***ing passed out too, the little bitch. There was a girl who always called me dumb or stupid for really no reason from elementary school all the way to high school. Until one day, I finally told her that if she had nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. She was quiet after that and stopped doing it. Years later now, I think she maybe liked me in some weird way. I stabbed him in the back of the neck with a pencil. 8th grade, I had been dealing with him whispering insults and ending up with spitballs and snot in my hair. The teacher switched our seating arrangement and I ended up behind him. He called me a stupid bitch and I had it. I got him on the back of the neck with my pencil. So yeah, honestly no clue where the courage came from. The bullying did stop. This wasn't me, but a quiet kid at school one of the bullies was picking on. The quiet kid never reacted even when the bully punched him. This went on for months and the bully was always trying to get this guy to fight him, but the kid always said, "I don't want to fight you." Then one day the bully broke this guy's art project on purpose he was about to hand in to be marked and the kid snapped. He belted the absolute shake out of this bully. We actually had to jump in and break it up because he was going to kick the guy and did look like stopping. I will never forget the bully turning up to school a few days later and his face was so swollen and one eye was completely closed and black and blue from all the punches he took to the face. I learned two things that day: bullies are cowards and always be wary of the quiet ones. Not at school, but my friend or neighbor was screaming. I heard her from across the street, so I ran over. We've all always walked in each other's places because we were close, so I opened her door after she was telling her Beth to let go of her. Harry grabbed me by my throat, tossed me out of their house. I got up, grabbed an igloo cooler, threw it through his house window. He came outside. I proceeded to wail on him until he was snoring on the ground. I'm not even 5'3". 1,151B, he's a 6 guy. I've never knocked anyone out in my life, but I just snapped went Incredible Hulk on him. I ended up with a broken hand, he ended up with 3 broken windows, a broken face. He had to take off work for 2 weeks, went blind in his eye for a month, the whites of his eye were red for at least a month or 2. It has been a year, my knuckle still has problems, and his eye still looks black. 6th grade, a kid had called me a cow, a whale, a horse, fat, queer, fat, etc. I have a hard past and was having my first panic attack, not fun. The kid took this opportunity to throw insults at me. I walked over to him, grabbed his hair, pulled him down to eye level and said, "I'm sick and tired of your bullshit, and if you do this again, I won't hesitate to grab at your dick and start twisting. Got it?" He kinda nodded a little and I went straight back to the emptiest corner. Teacher didn't see me, so I never got in trouble. I was approached by 3 dudes I've never met in my life when I was 12 who then proceeded to bully me. One who looked like a dang near carbon copy of Dudley Dursley, movie version, and 2 skinny minions. I was 70 pounds soaking wet and a tiny girl child, so Dursley smacked the frog I just caught out of my hands and squeezed it in front of me until its eyes began to swell, the other 2 jeering in the background. Sucks for him though. I spent most of my childhood stomping through creeks, lifting up fallen tree logs bigger than me like it's woodland CrossFit. I could pick up sewer covers by that age bare-handed. I punched him in the nose so hard I heard the crack. Dursley and his cronies went all jaw-dropped before the dickhead threw the frog at my face for retaliation. It hit, but I caught it as it bounced off and booked. Never saw those shits again. Found myself amidst a yay novel with classic yay novel bullies. If you haven't watched my other videos, then be sure to watch this one. I bet it will amaze you. Or you can watch all our videos in a row in this playlist. Write your stories in the comments, subscribe, turn on the bell, and go to our Discord. There we give you money for uploading our videos to TikTok. You uploaded, you gained views, you got money. Link in the comments.